There was a lot you could say about Paw Patrol police officer and squad leader Chase. You could say that he was a natural leader, brave, daring, athletic, popular, friendly, and even childish at times, but he'd vigorously deny it. Of course, one word all his friends always said that came to their minds was workaholic. It wasn't that Chase didn't know how to have fun or even relax, but he did tend to get a little bit too caught up in acting as a professional at times, almost to the point where he'd often forget when he didn't need to. Whether it was training, patrolling, planning new team tactics, testing equipment, or even cleaning the lookup out, Chase had a bad habit of getting too caught up in the moment. Thankfully, Marshall was always there to drag his sorry butt away from duties and towards town where the two could relax. "Oh, come on, Marshall, did you really have to drag me by my tail in front of everyone?" asked Chase, glaring at his best friend. "Would you rather me use the rope?" asked Marshall, grinning as the two stopped at a corner as the crossing light turned red. "Besides, you were driving everyone stir crazy with your antics." "All I was doing was making sure the lookout was secure. We did have a break-in last month after all," replied Chase, huffing. "Now it's just Kali chasing after Chiquilita who took her mouse toy," giggled Marshall. Chase sighed, walking ahead of his best friend as a light signaled to walk. "Okay, so maybe I was a bit, overworked." "Yep, and so I'm here to bring you out of town for some fun," said Marshall as he led Chase to the center of town where they walked under a giant banner that read, "Town Flea Market." Thankfully, it didn't have real fleas for sale, but trinkets and goods you normally didn't find in stores that people were giving out for free. "Whoa, look at all this cool stuff," replied Chase, as he walked over to one booth that held widely shaped glasses and vases. He made a few funny faces in front of them before spotting Marshall near a magic shop that was selling all kinds of magician gear. The dolly waved a wand that he picked up from a hat full of them, and came out a set of fireworks that spooked the poor pup into the air and landed on his hat tail first. The wands all activated, sending Marshall flying into the air with cracks of fire and sparkles behind him as he landed in front of Chase. Opening his eyes, he giggled and said, "I'm good, just having a sparkle of a time." Chuckled Chase, shaking his head. "Come on, Sparkle Butt." He pointed to Marshall's hunches, which were covered in sparkle dust that the Dalmatian shook off. "Let's see what else is around." The two pups continued onward until they were in the center of the town, where Mayor Goodway was handing some balloons to some children before wishing them a good time. She spotted the two pups before smiling at them. "Ah, Chase, Marshall, it's really nice to see you. How are you enjoying Adventure Bay's flea market?" "It's pretty cool, Mayor Goodway," replied Chase, watching the happy folk pass by. "I've never seen so many booths before." "Well, we've had a few visitors from out of town decide to come in and put up some of their stands. We even have a dog with her own stand nearby," replied Mayor Goodway. "Really? A dog stand owner? We gotta see that," replied Marshall, barking with excitement. "Sure, she's down that way and to the left. If you see anything you like at her shop, or any others, please let them know to forward the bill to me," replied Mayor Goodway. You don't have to do that for us, Mayor," replied Chase, blushing from such a kind act. Marshall was just as equally red as he shook his head in agreement. "Nonsense! After what you pups have done for this town, I would be honored to do this. Now, if you excuse me, I need to see how Chiquilita's doing at our booth," replied Mayor Goodway. "You have a booth, Mayor?" asked Marshall. "Oh yes, I have a rare set of corn kernels from around the world. I thought it would be best to let Chiquilita handle that while I gave these balloons out. I'll see you all around," she replied before walking away with a wave. The two friends looked at each other and smirked. "How much would I bet that Chiquilita ate half of those kernels by now?" asked Chase. "Only half? When it comes to corn, Chiquilita is like rubble at a buffet table," laughed Marshall as the two made their way in the direction Mayor Goodway told them. It didn't take them long to discover the booth, and it was quite an eyesore. It was a full-on black tent with purple symbols on it that neither pup recognized. Entering inside, the two found themselves shivering as if they walked into a sudden chill that made it feel 20 degrees colder inside. Unlike the artifacts outside of the other booths, the stuff inside here was creepy. There were strange dolls, china pots that were in various designs, books that were old, moldy, and hands with eyes on them. There were marionettes hanging from strings above, strange glowing orbs with smoke or lightning in them, amulets and crowns of Eastern design that looked both heavy and mystical. It was like entering a dark realm of mystery. Maybe we should leave, replied Marshall, shivering and shaking in the knees. This place is giving me the creeps. Yeah, replied Chase, feeling just as uncomfortable. However, before they could leave, they turned around and jumped in shock upon seeing an elderly English golden retriever with one pale eye staring at them with a toothy grin. Said set of teeth was missing a few too. She wore a purple cloak with a hood covering half her face as she strolled forward as if on smoke. Marshall and Chase looked at each other, both unsure of what to do as a strange elderly dog looked down at them. And what has fate brought before me today? 2 young pups? Oh, darlings, you come in here not knowing what fortune has in store for you, she replied. We were just leaving, replied Chase, nervously smiling. Yeah, leaving, replied Marshall. Oh, leaving so soon? You see nothing that interests you in Morgana's tent? She leaned forward. Nothing calling for you? Chase was about to say something when he felt weird. Like there was a fuzzy feeling in the back of his head. A small tingle. Something was bothering him. Marshall instead spoke. We're not interested. Thank you and goodbye. Marshall made his way for the exit, but just as Chase was about to follow, the pale retriever stopped him with her paw. No, there is something calling you. Be it fate or chance, you cannot prevent the wheel sudden turn of your destiny. Chase looked at the grinning dog lady before looking to a nervous Marshall. I'll be with you in a moment. But it's okay, I'll be fine, replied Chase. I mean, she's just a crazy old dog lady. It's not like she can cast a spell on me. Marshall whimpered a bit, but nodded and soon left, leaving the two alone. Morgana put her paw away and presented her wares around them. Come find what seeks you out. Be it good fortune or bad, it shall change you forever. Chase didn't say anything, but that darn annoying buzzing in his head was not stopping. She must have done some kind of gypsy trick on me. Fine, I'll just get something and go. He sniffed around, trying to find something interesting that would get the dog lady to let him leave in peace, when he stopped upon a small desk containing what looked to be a shriveled dead paw. It smelled like a monkey's arm. The lady gasped before turning a neutral face. Oh my, you're called by the monkey's paw. What little desires do you have that burn so brightly that you would give anything for it? What's a monkey's paw? Asked Chase. A monkey's paw is a magical item that shall grant you a number of wishes based on the number of fingers unfolded in the hand. Each wish shall come true until the hand is fully shut. But beware. She started to grin, which made a shiver go down Chase's spine. For each wish comes at a price you will regret in the end. Chase snorted, which made Morgana raise her eyebrow. Oh, not a believer? Magic and curses are just fairy tales, replied Chase, rolling his eyes. Look, I know you must be good at this whole mumbo-jumbo stuff, but if I get this stupid paw, can I leave? Of course, if you wish, but I suggest you grab something else, replied Morgana, leaning in closer. For if you leave with the monkey's paw, your fate and the fate of those around you are sealed. Right, replied Chase as he took the monkey's paw in her jaws and flipped it onto its head. Just send the bill to Mayor Goodway. With that said, Chase walked out of the tent while the dog lady just smiled. See you later, you creepy lady. Oh, we shall meet again, replied Morgana as she watched him leave. Chase walked out of the tent, glad to feel the sun on his face when Marshall tackled onto him. Chase, you're okay. I thought she was gonna bubble you in a pot and eat you for lunch. I'm fine, Marshall. Can you get off me, please? replied Chase as he slowly got up. Marshall noticed the monkey's paw on the ground and sniffed it before sticking his tongue out. What's that? It smells dead. It's a monkey's paw, replied Chase as he picked it up with his mouth before flipping it on his back. It's some stupid trinket I had to get. Grants wishes if you wish while holding it, and the fingers fold to tell you how many wishes are left. I think I'll just bury it in the backyard for the poor thing to rest. Sounds good. Poor little guy, replied Marshall before the two made their way as far away from the tent as possible. They were just about to turn the corner when Marshall gasped and made his way towards another booth nearby. This one was pink and had a big heart on top. Chase raised an eyebrow as he saw Marshall talk to the lady at the booth who was showing the pup various books. Eventually, after a few minutes, Marshall took one and nodded thanks to the lady before returning to Chase. Sorry, I figured I'd get something too. What is it? Asked Chase. Blushing, Marshall showed the cover and Chase couldn't help but snicker. 1,000 ways to confess to the one you love? He gave a teasing smirk at his friend. Aw, does Marshy Warshy have a crush on someone? Shut up, replied Marshall, hiding his face behind the book. Look, I like someone. I'm not going to say who, but I really want to tell them how I feel. I've been trying for such a long time now that I need all the help I can get. It's most likely Everest. The two of them are close friends, and I think I've seen her wink at him. Chase smiled and put his paw on his shoulder. Just tell them. Look, they'll be glad to have you because you're a good pup. And if they don't like you, well, then they're idiots. What if I'm not brave enough to do this? Asked Marshall. Come on, you're one of the bravest pups I know. And I think you should go on ahead and tell the pup how you feel about her, replied Chase. Marshall smiled at his friend and gave him a friendly nuzzle. What did I do to deserve a friend like you, Chase? Just by being yourself, replied Chase as he and Marshall made their way towards the exit. It didn't take them long to arrive back at the lookout, where the other pups were playing with each other. Marshall told Chase he was going to put the book in the pup house before rushing off, just as Skye noticed the two. Chase held his breath for a bit as he took a moment to observe the cute little cockapoo, whose bounce made her seem even more cuter than she normally did. He felt his heart flutter as the bad feelings from earlier at the Morgana's tent faded away. Truth was, a part of him wished he could borrow Marshall's book so that he could tell Skye how he felt about her the moment she joined the team. Hey, Chase, replied Skye, smiling at him with such a pure look that it was like an angel had descended upon him. The boys and I are getting ready for a game of kickball. You and Marshall want to join? Only if I can be in your team, replied Chase, grinning. It's a deal, replied Skye. She rushed off to let the others know, not knowing that Chase was staring at her bouncy behind. Slapping himself at such a rude and perverted thought, Chase made his way towards the back of the yard to find a perfect place to bury the monkey's paw. He sniffed the ground a bit, making sure not to place it close to the other buried items, and soon found the perfect spot near the tree. Digging it, he got his paws dirty before he had a big enough hole to put the paw away in the dirt to rest. He glanced at it one more time and wondered, wouldn't hurt to try it once. He thought about what to wish for and his mind turned back to Marshall. Well, he needs all the help he can get, so I wish Marshall and his crush would get together. He tossed the monkey's paw into the dirt and started to rebury it. As it was filled, he quickly put his scent on it to let the others know it was his spot and rushed to rejoin the others for kickball. Unbeknownst to Chase, the paw began to fold one of its fingers. The next day, Chase began his usual morning routine. He jogged around the lookout, did 50 push-ups and crunches, practiced some pup foo cactus, and a round of pull-ups on the swing. He started to drink from his water bowl near the swing sets when he noticed that Marshall was out early as well. He was going to wish him good morning when he saw him heading towards Skye's pup house and waited outside, looking nervous. There was also something in his paws, but he couldn't get a good look at it. Chase, now curious, used his super spy sheath to sneak in closer to see what it was hiding behind the near toy box. Slowly, he peeked out to see what it was, and what he saw made his body freeze up from hair to tail. It was roses. A dozen roses all wrapped in a pink bow. Just as he began to comprehend this, Skye came out, yawning before noticing the flowers. She gasped at their beauty before gazing at Marshall, who was looking at her with a heartfelt smile. I got these for you. Sky stared at them before she slowly took them into her paws. Marshall, what is this? Me being brave, he chuckled before clearing his throat. Okay, just like the book said. He took in a deep breath and said, Sky, will you go out with me? In that moment, Chase felt his heart shatter. His best friend, the one who was like a brother to him, was asking Chase's crush out. Sky, the one who he had loved in his heart from the first day he first glanced upon her eyes. A series of emotions flew towards Chase. Shocked that the girl Marshall liked was not Everest, but Sky. Horrified that his best friend was doing what he had dreamed of doing for years. Angry that he was even attempting to woo his crush. He was about to march out when what happened next made him all but fall in the darkest pit of despair. Oh, Marshall, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'll go out with you.
In fear and surprise as your eyes widen, your mouth goes dry with each battered breath. You try to scream, your mind begs to leave. Glued to your computer screen, the killers they slash, the tapes burn and crash. The cartridge you bought will be your final haunt. The rituals of hate will seal your fate. The tears you shed will be from the fear-gripping horror-driven nightmarish gore-filled, terrorizing, hateful, burning, violent, rage-inducing, knife-slashing, blood-splattering, silent screams. Only time will tell if you will escape this online hell. Your horror-filled obsessions will come with its own regressions. Your pathetic screams will not be heeded in any way, because your nightmares will come at any day.